and gentlemen, nice to see you. I wasn't planning on doing this tonight. I didn't think that I was going to do a post-match reaction video slash stream, but I was actually really happy with what I just watched there, I must say. A bit of, a tale of two halves, you could say, in that friendly. But I thought, you know what, let's load up the live stream, the camera, the microphone, everything else. Let's hear your guys' thoughts, and let me get my thoughts across for a quick post-match reaction. We may as well get back into the swing of things because that's it. Pre-season is officially over. It's done. Finito. And the real football starts again on Saturday. So it was our last chance of warming up and getting prepared for the real stuff this weekend. So, yeah, somebody says they can't hear me. I hope that's just one person. I think it is, because everybody else usually rushes to tell me they can't hear me. Turn up the volume on your phone, sir. You'll be able to get me then. But let's talk about that tonight. Celtic 3, Athletic Club, Athletic Bilbao 2. And what was a very impressive win for Celtic, and one that I hope has got us all confident and optimistic for the start of this new campaign as we aim to win 3 in a row. Fantastic reception for Brendan Rodgers, fantastic reception and crowd for the Celtic team tonight, but most importantly, as we can probably say here tonight, very good reception and very good a night for James Forrest. Of course, his testimonial, the whole point in tonight's whole ordeal was to celebrate and thank James Forrest for his fantastic service to Celtic Football Club over the past, for 15 years almost. One of the most successful Celtic players of all time, and yeah, polarising. You might have an opinion on whether he's been great or not so great or whatever. In the middle, at the end of the day, he's achieved a whole lot more than what a vast majority of Celtic players ever have. And tonight, well deserving of his testimonial and his flowers. So yeah, and it was nice to see him obviously get a run out as captain as well this evening. And what is probably the last few years of his Celtic career. We don't know how long left we'll have with James Forrest, but it's nice to give him that sort of moment. You know, we see these kind of things happen for the biggest and best that our club has seen, and he's a modern day icon of the club. You know, he's someone who's been here for such a long time and contributed so much. So yeah, and listen, if you've watched me long enough, you'll all know I've never been a massive James Forrest fanatic, but one thing that you can sit and put aside is your opinion on him as a player, and then and how good he's been. He has been good. He's had his moments. Maybe not an extraordinary player, but he's certainly contributed more than what the vast majority of players do at this club. So yeah, he deserved it tonight. He deserved it, and he got his moment. But we're here to talk a bit about the performance, some individual performances, the team performance, the bigger picture from the game as well. I'm going to get all your thoughts towards the end of the stream too. And listen, it's one of those ones. It's a pre-season friendly, so I'm once again just going to drill in the fact that, you know, I always look at these games without trying to be too passionate on either side. I don't get overreactionary on the negatives or the positives. I think judging Saturday will be much better for that. We'll be able to look at what the real football does for us and does for individual players. But there definitely is things that we need to talk about in regards to negatives, positives. And we'll try and cover all bases as level-headed as possible on here as we usually do. But yeah, thank you to WB Warrior, by the way, for the first donation of the stream, £2, saying Kwon looked horrendous, however Home looks like a great steal. We'll talk about both players as the stream goes on, but thank you for the donation. Remember, you can like and subscribe. That would be massive as we aim to 40,000 subscribers. You can donate as well if you choose to. It's in the chat section. But yeah, let's talk about everything from start to finish, and then we'll just have a general chit chat with you guys and everything else. I think that it was great to see the positive reception for Brendan Rodgers. I've been waiting, so I don't want to say anxiously, it wasn't going to affect me, but I've been waiting so on edge to see what the reaction would have been like for Brendan Rodgers. But I feel like now we are at a kind of unanimous point as a football club and with the supporters and such that Brendan Rodgers is back and we're all happy about it. Now, listen, there was a massive thing missing from tonight's game, that being the Green Brigade. They weren't there. No reason. I mean, you can only speculate what the reason is. Might be because of Rodgers, might not be because of Rodgers. They weren't there, but for everybody who was in the stadium, it was nice to see a sort of unanimous cheer and, you know, just a kind of joint positive reception for the manager. I think we are all now back on side with Rodgers being manager, as we should be with the manager of his quality. So he was back, great reception for him, and he played a strong team to start off the game, one that I was excited to see. Thank you, Mary, by the way, for the £5. Very appreciated. But yeah, let's talk about the first half. First half, we weren't great. I thought there was a few negatives in there. We obviously didn't get off to a great start with Bilbao opening the scoring really, really early. Gomez scoring inside the opening 2 minutes of the game. After, I don't think we done anything necessarily wrong, but we just failed to build out the play the way that we wanted to. So it wasn't a great start to the game. However, what I will say in response to that poor start to the game, I thought Celtic tried to get into the game quite positively. We had a good share of possession, but Bilbao were creating chances, and they kept getting in behind our defenders in different ways, which was slightly annoying. But one thing that I do want to touch on, thank you very much, Ian. Good to see you as always. Absolute legend. Thank you for the donation. Much better second half. Yeah, we'll get on to the second. What I will say about the first half was I wasn't too critical of the negatives that we've seen defensively, because you look at the centre-half pairing that we had today. Number one, it was the first time that Cameron Carter-Vickers and Mike Nawrocki played together. By the way, I've now learned it's not Nawrocki, it's Nawrocki, which is actually quite a tongue twister when you try and speak as quickly as I do. But Nawrocki and Cameron Carter-Vickers, both of them just coming back from injuries. Nawrocki had a very small ankle knock. Cameron Carter-Vickers, a much bigger injury to come back with. It was the first time they played together. It was also a Celtic debut for Mike Nawrocki. So it was always going to be quite an odd centre-half pairing, and one that was going to be green to start off with. You know, they were green together, and you can see that. But what I will say is, I thought that Nawrocki looked solid. I quite liked what I seen of Nawrocki. I think it took him maybe 5-10 minutes to find his footing in the game. There was a couple of kind of dodgier moments, but overall, for a friendly performance, I'm not taking any major quarrels from it. And I was happy with it. And I think there's obviously going to be huge building forward, having those two playing together. They are now going to be, maybe more than likely, our starting centre-half partnership as things develop, as long as Nawrocki puts in the performances that we expect of him, paying the fee that we did. But I wasn't too concerned with that defensive performance between those two, because I knew that they were just coming back, and it was going to be kind of a tester for them to see where they are. Will they start? Will any of them start on Saturday? Who knows? It's going to be fun to wait for that first starting 11 of the season to come out on Saturday morning, to see who the centre halves will be, because I think there is every chance that we could see a Starfelt and Scales. There is a chance that we could see a Starfelt and Welsh. I think that the centre half partnership is very much up in the air for Saturday. Now, if I was to put my money on it, considering Vickers is back, I think he probably will start. But if Rodgers has assessed him tonight and thinks, okay, maybe it's going to be a couple of games away, maybe the intensity isn't quite there for Vickers yet, maybe it will be another partnership that starts on Saturday. That'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, we did try and build our way. Thank you, Daniel Hero, 10 Australian dollars. Thank you. We did try and build our way back into the game, and eventually we did find our way back into the game through a Rio Hatate strike. A very delicious Rio Hatate strike, I must add. It was a fantastic effort from him outside the area that found the equaliser for Celtic. However, it was very short-lived, because straight from kick-off, Athletic Bilbao go up the park, and Muniain took advantage of a mistake from us to make it 2-1. It was a poor attempt of a clearance from Tomoki Iwata. It was very Shane Duffy-like. It reminded me of something that he would have done in that short spell he was here. But Tomoki Iwata did have a bit of an unfortunate situation. I just cut my lip, by the way. See, when I done that there, to wipe my lip, I've literally cut it. I hope it doesn't start bleeding. It feels sore. Oh my god. This is the thing about going live. Things happen. But Tomoki Iwata had a bit of an unfortunate scenario. It was a fantastic finish from Muniain, to be fair. It was tremendous work from him to get it past Benji Siegrist, and no goalkeeper was saving that. I tell you that right now. No goalkeeper saving that. And he made it 2-1, 38 minutes into the game. That was the half-time score. And, you know, I don't think that, yeah, the first half paled in comparison to the second half. We were much poorer on the first than what we were the second. But I don't think that we were overly bad. I think considering you're going up against a side who finished 8th in the Spanish top tier last season, with quality players all over the park, when a lot of players were making their debut for the club, etc., etc., I don't think it was an overwhelmingly bad performance. And once again, it's a glorified training session being a friendly game. So I wasn't overall concerned as what some people have been in social media, some people throwing their toys out the pram, but we will talk about a few of the individual performances because, of course, second half, we made a complete change to the team that was playing. We made 10 changes. We've seen, and then basically 11 changes, actually. So I think it's worthwhile probably talking about some of them. 250 from Gareth McDonald, thank you. A lot of people already starting on Kwon. He did have a poor performance tonight, right? Okay, he did. He absolutely did. But oh my God, right? He did have, in isolation, you can talk about a poor performance. Absolutely, right? It's not like you just dance over it and pretend it didn't happen. But some people, I've generally seen some people saying that's it, it's done. Kwon's finished. He shouldn't play for. I have seen some people give that reaction. He has played 45 minutes in a Celtic shirt, and apparently that's it done for him. And that's one thing about the overreactionary side of our support that I just can't stand. The boy's played 45 minutes in a friendly, and he's finished. He's 22 years of age. He's just arrived here from halfway over the other side of the globe. And that's him done. Listen, Kwon's not coming into Celtic to be starting games. You're not going to see him start anytime soon. I can virtually guarantee that. You know, Callum McGregor's role is going to be kept. He's going to play in that defensive midfield role. You're probably going to see either O'Reilly, Turnbull, Hatate, all these guys, maybe even Thiago Holm play in front of McGregor. Kwon is going to be a project. Kwon is going to get bits and bobs, minutes here and there, come off the bench. Let's not overreact and write off his Celtic career before it's even started. Yeah, he was poor tonight. I wasn't expecting class from him, to be fair. I probably was expecting a little bit better, but yeah, he did struggle out there. He didn't have the greatest performance that you maybe would have wanted to see. But I think to write him off and completely judge him over 45 minutes in a friendly is extremely harsh on the young lad. And we'll just need to watch how he develops from there. Now, thank you to Craig, by the way. O will thrive under Rodgers, splitting the defence. I'm going to come on to O because I was very impressed with him tonight. But I think that Kwon is someone who will just need to watch develop. There is, you know, we're in a position with Celtic right now that position's on lockdown for McGregor. It's tough to come in, make an impression, and then actually do something and keep a spot because you're just not shifting McGregor. That's the reality. He's the captain. He's arguably the best player in the team, and he's the most consistent player in the team without a shadow of a doubt. So you're not going to shift him out of that position. Over the last couple of years, we've had guys like James McCarthy. We even had, and here's a name that you might have forgot we had, Oliver Abildgaard. We had guys like him. And we've even had, obviously, Yosuke Deguchi, who all came in being a centre defensive mid, and they all flopped. They all failed. McCarthy, Abildgaard, and Ideguchi. A lot of people maybe are having some insecurities around Kwon after 45 minutes because of people like that. You know what I mean? So, listen, we're just going to have to watch the development as it goes. There is no chance that I'm going to write him off and I'm going to give him Doug's abuse for 45 minutes in a friendly game. I think that would be incredibly unfair. But, yeah, he didn't have a great performance tonight. Aside from that, in the first half, Kyogo obviously had a great chance. It was a good save from Unai Simon, who put it wide. Forrest was there. I don't think anybody necessarily was bad in the first half. I think that the poorest performance probably did lie with Kwon, but yeah, aside from that, we had to buck up our ideas, and we certainly did as we moved into the second half. Celtic made 10 changes moving into the second half, and then James Forrest came off very, very early, so we've seen a lot of different players come on. And the story of the second half was I thought we were just really good, and I think there was a couple of players who, you know, such as your Bernabes, such as your Turnbulls, such as your O's, who really, really, really stood up and gave us performances to think about in that second half. Now, this is what I want to say about friendly games. And I tweeted this earlier on, and this is my kind of overseeing thought of tonight's game. This is what I would basically summarise the whole game in saying. When it comes to pre-season friendlies, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, I don't like to overreact. I don't like to be positively over ambitious, and I don't like to be negatively over negative, say, or over pessimistic. I like to just keep it level-headed and look at things as they are. I don't want to get too carried away. I'm not going to sit here and after seeing that second half and say, oh, Burnaby is now the best thing from sliced bread. Oh, Turnbull's going to be a world beater. I'm not going to sit down and say that. But what I will say is I think that guys like them, and those two especially, have now created a conversation to at least say it's going to be interesting to watch what Brendan Rodgers can do with them, because I don't think that revitalising their career is completely out the question. Me especially, and a lot of people, had David Turnbull off. With 1 year left in his deal, I didn't think he had much to offer left at Celtic, and for the best of the club and for himself, I thought that he would move on this summer. But he's here, and I think that there's a conversation to have about him. Burnaby was someone who, a few months ago, we said was never going to be good enough, shouldn't stay at Celtic, should probably go, and we should look for another left back. And now, after this pre-season that he's had, maybe, just maybe, there's a conversation to be had. But once again, I'm not going to be overreactionary about it. I'm not going to be overly optimistic. I think that we've just got to sit and wait and see, and that's it. Negative or positive, every player that Brendan Rodgers now has and decides to keep, we just need to watch their development with a bit of optimism and a bit of, promise, rather than jumping in two-footed on either side of the opinion. We can say that someone's been bad, we can say that someone's been good, but I think that we just need to sit and watch now, because it's only been a pre-season. Do you understand? Right? That's my overseeing thought of everything that's gone on tonight and in pre-season. Thank you, by the way. God bless you, and hope you're having fun over in Belfast, WB Warrior. Nice to see you. Thank you for the donation. So I think that, it's going to be interesting to watch players like that, but Burnaby, Turnbull, and for me, in that second half, were all brilliant. I thought they were really, really good. I thought looked like a striker who's going to thrive in Brendan Rodgers football, because in the first half especially, it looked as though we set up with that 4-2-3-1 rather than the 4-3-3, which is obviously a similar shape in the sense that you've got your two wingers, and you kind of, if you bring the attacking midfielder back for phases of the game, you're kind of lining up in a 4-3-3. But if we are playing that 4-2-3-1, if that is the route that Brendan Rodgers chooses to go down, I think that could be huge for a player like O. And I think that'll be great for him. And I really liked what I've seen of him tonight. The goals obviously coming from Burnaby and Turnbull. Brilliant goals as well, especially Burnaby's. His movement off the ball was fantastic to meet up with the final pass and then put it into the back of the net. I was very impressed with what I've seen. And if anything, that kind of B-side that you could say played in the second half, I think there was a much better performance from them and a lot more positives to take from it and questions to ask moving into the season, because these are guys that are now here to challenge for spots in the first team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what a guy like David Turnbull can do, because you look at the revitalisation that Brendan Rodgers inspired within players like Stuart Armstrong. Can he do that with a guy like David Turnbull? Because if he can, Turnbull will be a menace. He'll be fantastic. We know what the qualities that David Turnbull has. So I'm really excited. I'm just really, really excited, because Rodgers' speciality wasn't signing players. His speciality was taking players, and he spoke about this, taking players and making them better, finding the positives in their game, exploiting the positives in their game, and ultimately turning them into better players. So I'm really, really excited to see what Brendan Rodgers does with the guys that are around here. I now am happy that guys like Turnbull are staying around at the club, because they have a lot to offer him. I think that their skills and the qualities that they carry as players have gone under the radar, maybe because players like Hatate and O'Reilly and such have stood up. It's now time for these guys who've maybe been in the backseat to stand up once again and create a conversation and create pressure for the first team players to get better and keep their places in the team. It's going to be very fun. But listen, tonight's result, fantastic for Celtic. A huge win heading into that first game of the season. We came back from behind twice in the game. And I am just very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. It's a good friendly. Not carried away with it whatsoever. But aye, and James Forrest obviously got his flowers as well. So, yeah, good night. Good day at the office for Celtic. But let's go for 10 minutes. There's a fly going about. I've just smacked into oblivion. Oh, my God. Let's go for 10 minutes. Getting your points, your thoughts, your questions, your everything in relation to tonight's game. And obviously heading into Saturday, because that is us now on the final stretch. Heading into what is going to be a huge season for us. Under Brendan Rodgers for the second time. I'm seeing a lot of Scran talk in the chat. I love how that we just lost our thought along the way about the football tonight, and I see a lot of chippy chat, we'll save it for the pod. I seen someone saying, save it for the podcast, lads. Yeah, save it for the podcast. But I'm just glad. Listen, before I get into the final thoughts of you, or the thoughts of you guys, and discuss your points, my final thought is I'm just glad we've ended the pre-season on a positive like that, because the reaction post Yokohama loss was unbearable. And like, if we lost tonight and people were like, "Oh, we're gubbed, we're heading into Saturday, gubbed," oh, I think I would have shut off for the week and not spoke. So, yeah. Well, I miss James Forrest. Well, he's not away yet. I don't know if there's a misconception that he's gone. But I'll see if I'll miss him come the end of his contract. But he's not gone anywhere yet. He's still here. It felt awful weird when they subbed him off in the 49th minute and all that. I was like, hey, he's not left yet. We're gonna see him. But aye. Anyway, let's get some stuff. Let's see. Mac said, points I took from the game. Scales looks solid. Seen Brendan taking a lot of notes and a great turnout from both sets of fans. Yet Scales, I mean, God, he's playing like a guy that's like, nope, I don't want sold. I don't want loaned out. I want to create a conversation here. Once again, pre-season thoughts. Don't want to get over kind of ambitious or such on a player and say this, that, and the next thing. But listen, if Scales plays like that into the proper season, he's an option. I thought it was overrated, Cal. I thought it was overrated. I heard so much good things about it. It's like, I would have loved that when I was 13. But I've grown up now and I didn't think it was as funny as I thought it was going to be. But it was still good. It wasn't bad. If the strikers seem much more involved in the play under Brendan Rodgers, Kyogo not ran down the wing in over a season. I like the involvement of Kyogo and O so far. I think they've looked good in pre-season. I think they've looked involved as well. So yeah, I didn't even talk about Odin Thiago Home. I think he looked tidy tonight, and I think that he will eventually easily become a starter for Celtic. Listen, we've heard so many good things about him. He's been bigged up by tons of outlets and tons of publications, and he was nominated for the European, he was shortlisted or longlisted, sorry, for the European Golden Boy Award. This is someone who's going to be a star if he goes, off of the ratings that he's had so far, and I thought he looked tidy tonight. I really want to see him play a big part in the Celtic side moving forward. So hopefully we continue to see some great things out of him. It's good to see more of him, to be fair. Really glad to see a multi-footed debut tonight. Has 2 feet though. Yep, I'm glad that he's got 2 feet. I'm glad that he's multi-footed. Yep. We're never going to let that go, are we, on this channel? That's going to be here forever, Craig. It's going to be here forever. Is this Rodgers sticking to a 4-3-3 potentially? Well, I think in the second half it looked like we're getting more into sort of a 4-3-3, if anything. But especially at the start of the game, it was definitely a 4-2-3-1 we're playing. But I guess that's the beauty of Brendan Rodgers and his football. We are sort of, and listen, it's easy to, I mean, I say that as if I play football, right? But on paper, it should be easy to slip between a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3. It is a case of, maybe moving wingers further up the park, or dropping one of the centre midfielders or the attacking midfielder a little bit deeper, and then you're virtually into a 4-3-3. I think in the phase of play, you can transition between the two quite easily. I don't think that it's so... Football is a different sport nowadays. I think that formations, what you see at the start of a game on a starting lineup sheet, it's never going to stay like that. Football's changed in the respect that managers and players are adapting as the game goes on. So, like, I don't think that we're strictly sticking to any formation. I think that you'll see things change in the phase of play. And I thought O'Reilly looked good as well, Cal. I think that O'Reilly's going to have a massive season for us. What happened to UK? Well, I said I'd like to jump in and judge people too quickly, but I think we can be real for a moment, Mackenzie. I think we can be real. I don't see him having an awful lot of time this season to make amends for some of his disastrous performances towards the end of last campaign. So, yeah. One thing from tonight, I just seen Joe Hart's name mentioned. I think that it's becoming extremely more evident that we do need a goalkeeper, because the options being Hart, Bain and Siegrist, wow. We do need to sign a keeper. Now, apparently, Fenerbahce aren't wanting Livakovic anymore, and now I've seen Livakovic getting linked with the likes of Almeria in Spain. Come on, Celtic, do us a favour. Go in for it. Go in for the kill. Get Livakovic, but we definitely do need a keeper. Turnbull never lost any quality. He just looked fed up under Ange as he wasn't getting a crack of the whip. Yeah, I mean, your talent doesn't disappear overnight. It was just really... Look, I don't think he was ever an Ange Postecoglou player. Let's be real. David Turnbull's not He's not a runner. He doesn't do a lot of pressing. He doesn't do up and down running. He's a very sort of technically gifted player who likes the ball at his feet, who likes the shooting, the passing side of it, rather than all that kind of off the ball work. He was never really an Ange player, whereas when Ange brought in O'Reilly and Hatate, that was kind of it for him, wasn't it? That was when Turnbull kind of dipped out of the team. So, like, this is a chance now because he's a player that Rodgers will love. So it's a massive chance for him. With 1 year left in his contract, let's see. I thought that, well, not Kwon, it was Yang at right wing. Yang. Just to correct you, old school techno. Don't mean to be cheeky, but just to correct you, Yang, that's the winger. Kwon is the centre defensive midfielder. But on that note, I thought that Yang looked decent as well. Haxa was on the bench tonight, Craig. I don't think he's injured, but who knows, maybe. He was on the bench, though. Let's see. What else? Let's see. A good dress rehearsal for Saturday, but who will come and who will go? That is still a big question. Yes, Stephen, we've got a kind of bloated squad. Players need to go. Rodgers has spoke about that, and Rodgers has also spoke about how the fact there'll be still a lot of recruitment left in the team. He's still going to make signings, so who will stay? Who will go? There's still a month left in this transfer window. It's going to be interesting to wait and see. I really don't know who will leave. That's the weird thing. I really don't know who will go. Maida looked sharp in the match and all of pre-season. Absolutely. I would agree with that, the Celtic guy. Kevin Twist. Turnbull was good under Ange until the League Cup final against Hibs with the injury. Yeah, that's it, and then January when we made the signings, it kind of murdered them there and then. But, yeah. Am I a certified Baniac after the performance? No, I'm not. Yeah, a wee bit. No, I'm not at all. I'm not at all. It's okay, old school techno. We all make mistakes. Let's see. Maida showed us a lot of Maida praise in the chat tonight. With Jim saying Maida showed his class tonight, and under Rodgers he can be taken to another level. He started to show it last season, but I think he'll properly shine. Yeah, I think it's a big season for Maida. We've seen him play against Yokohama when he got the hat trick. He can do it through the middle. He can do it out left. He'll be huge for us. He'll be absolutely huge for us. A lot of people were writing him off as soon as Rodgers came in the door. People were wrong to jump in two-footed. This is one for I'm so excited for the game on Saturday in general, but I'm really excited to see the starting 11 on Saturday because I don't think that there's necessarily a guaranteed 11 for Brendan Rodgers. Like, there's not an 11 that I can stand by and say, okay, there's an 11 that I think is our best 11, but is it Rodgers' best 11? I think it's going to be very telling because obviously rotation has been big in pre-season. He's been trying to kind of analyse what he's got. So I think that Saturday is going to be huge to kind of tell what's going to come over the course of the season. So I can't wait. And on that note, as we build towards Saturday, I'm going to end tonight's live stream. Thank you if you've been watching late on. Remember to hit like and subscribe before you go. But thank you everybody for tuning in this evening. We'll be here all week. We'll be here with a podcast hopefully on Friday too before a ball is kicked on Saturday morning. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Thank you for coming in so late on. It's been a pleasure. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.